I have been in contact, Stugotz, with Tim Legler, wanting the last couple of years to send a correspondent to his new Florida Halloween, but he has not done it the last couple of years, so we are hoping to do that next year.
People have gotten mad at us, but, like, we can't force ourselves on his house if he says no.
It's his house, right?
Politely.
Yep.
But, like, he has things that have gone on in his life events, and hasn't done it, and, like, we've tried, and just says no very nicely.
We can force our way onto and around his house if he's doing Halloween, but it'd be extra awkward if we did that and he wasn't doing the big ornate Halloween and we were just showing up at his house. But
that's what stopped us, because unless you think that Dan wouldn't force us on Tim Legler. He has attempted several times.
I sent many an awkward email to a Tim Legler who seemed very disinterested in continuing this, just to kind of, let's make it happen. And then, he said no politely.
Let's not.
I think we've made Tim Legler stop celebrating Halloween.
We put pressure on it, sure.
He moved.
Was it when we sent Billy there?
He liked that. I felt like I was part of his family, even though he didn't let me in his house. He's like, you can pee outside.
We were trying to combine in Florida the trip to Legler's house and doing a live broadcast from Stan Van Gundy's pontoon boat. Stugotz, do you know what a pontoon boat looks like?
I do. Captain Lee, by the way, said he would captain that boat if we wanted to do it. That's the guy you're supposed to call Jimmy Johnson for. Have you done it yet? I mean,
I'm not going to do that.
It's unfortunate.
Here's what a pontoon boat generally doesn't look like, although in Florida, this is sometimes what you get when you are just looking at random rivers and canals, and here it looks like a bit of a fire truck. It's not a fire truck, right? It's just a truck that is on.
Rex Ryan on that.
It's una ratra.
It is. Is it Rex Ryan or Rob Ryan? He is running a half truck, half boat. It seemed like it had a lot of coolers, as a boat like that must have. A lot of places for drinks, but. How do we feel? That's not doing well on the open seas, right? That is only on waters that are that kind of placid. That boat is tipping over on its side in water that has some waves.
Pontoon, largely a freshwater boat.
Yeah, bays, lakes, stuff like that. You don't want to take a pontoon out on the open ocean. No. That also seems like a thing, by the way, that you don't just see once, right? Like, you can't just see that and be like, "What was that?" Like that, they have to know. Like that's Jim's. He lives down the lake over there, whatever.
Old Jimmy
down the canal. Yeah.
He got bought out from the Bills.
Kind of sticks out a little bit. That one.
It's not a fire truck, correct? It's just a truck.
No, it's an 18-wheeler. That's the front end of a semi truck. Yeah. They don't make them like that, Dan. That was a custom job.
Build,
yeah, that's a custom.
Thank you.
Yeah, pontoon.
I appreciate the clarification, Billy.
Although when someone sees that, I mean, if you can do that once, you can do that a number of times, and there's probably a market for people that like that.
First off, Cuban people have been doing that for years to get over here. You'd see a truck, you'd see anything. That you could take that to Cuba and back 1,000,000 times.
I actually take more offense at that than I do the Italian fingers.
I don't believe they have modern trucks very much in Cuba. I believe it's mostly 1950s Russian automobiles. I don't believe that they have. I do know what you generally mean. I feel though like they don't have car parts or truck parts that are modern.
Also, like that is done like for necessity, and the ingenuity is not for pleasure. That is a pleasure craft.
In Cuba, no, there is some desperation involved.
Sounds like an endorsement for free market capitalism.
It is not a pleasure.
Do you think that person is like a retired like long hauler? Like they made their money going on runs, like
put their truck on a boat.
No, not put their truck on a boat, but like that's how they made their money. That's how they bought their house on the water. And he said, you know what? Here's a little nod to the old career. I remember we took old Bessie up and down the coast, east to west, 75 times.
That's not making it up and down the coast. That is not handling anything in the way of.
No, that was on the road.
No, but he's saying the truck.
Yeah.
The original.
Originally, old Bessie was on the road. You know what I mean? And then Jimbo said, you know what? I'm going to call it a career, but don't want to leave old Bessie behind. Brought Bessie on the boat.
I'm seeing that this boat is owned by a trucking company, Jeff Foster Trucking.
Jeff!
Huh?
It looks
so close when I
like
said Jim.
a retirement vehicle. Let's get to the testy Brandon Staley sound here because he is, Stugotz, under duress. He has aged a great deal. He used to be a boy wonder. He was going for it on fourth down. He was the coach who was least afraid and most aggressive, but the Chargers have beaten him down. As Chris Cody told you, Herbert has lost more games since 2020 than any quarterback in the league, and he's great. I know he's great. He is an exceptional quarterback who never rallies to win games late.
Chris said he's bad.
I was defending you there, Stugotz. Well, now you're turning on me. All I said was it's debatable where Eckler ranks amongst running backs.
Thank you.
Let's play the sound, or
back.
one of the sounds, of testy Brandon Staley.
I have full confidence, like I've told you, and like I've told you from the beginning, I have full confidence in our way of playing. Full confidence in myself as the play caller, in the way that we teach, and the way that we scheme. Full confidence in that. We got to bring this group together and do it consistently, okay? And that's where it's at. So you can stop asking that question, okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses, okay? So we're clear. So you don't have to ask that again.
This, of course, is from the maker of What Do You Think My Mood Is, Jeff? That is the last time we checked in with Brandon Staley. I introduced in Los Angeles Mike to Jeff.
Really?
I met the Jeff.
Not the Jeff in the pontoon boat who ran the tuck.
How was it?
Jeff Foster. It was thrilling. And you know me, I hate Brandon Staley. So anybody that can get under his skin is a friend of mine. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
They're afraid at this point, the reporters who cover the team, to ask the questions because they're going to get this kind of defensiveness. Let's play. Which one's better, Stugotz, on the Brandon Staley defensive front? The one we just played or this one?
I'm not here to talk to the fan base. I'm here to talk to my players, the locker room. I know that we give ourselves a chance to win every single week with the game plans that we have, okay? And we have done it here. You guys act like we've never played good defense. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. You act like we haven't made any improvements. Today, in the run game, we played outstanding. We're rushing the quarterback well. What we got to do a better job of is in the passing game. And that's where our full attention is, and it's where it will continue to be. There were a lot of other things that caused us to lose today. It certainly wasn't our defense. It was the way we played as a team. We didn't play well enough on the red zone on offense. We dropped too many passes. Okay, we gave up a few killer sacks. Okay, we did this as a team. Stop making it about one unit, because that's not what happened out there today. Our team lost, and I am fully responsible for it, and I take full responsibility. But we lost as a team today, and that's the storyline.
The second one. Full responsibility means taking full responsibility. It doesn't mean blaming the defense. It doesn't mean blaming Justin Herbert. It doesn't mean blaming Austin Eckler for fumbling. It means blaming yourself. It's all on you. It's on no one else. He didn't do that. He tried to do it. He didn't do it.
Rex Ryan on Get Up said Brandon Staley should go back to where he belongs in Division III football.
Ooh, wow.
Is that the type of
Seems
quote?
a bit much.
That's not necessarily the type of quote you want to give when you need your team to fight for you and your job. You run the risk of losing the locker room, and you're at a precarious situation right now in your schedule and in your season and in your tenure.
Stugotz, I want to in a second, because our football Mondays are so soaked in football, I want to get to everyone's 11th most interesting observation from yesterday's games. Only the top 10 are good enough to make the show, but I just want to show everyone how good the top 10 is by just pointing out what everyone's 11th best one is. But before we do that, I just want a little quiz for you, because tonight's a great one. Tonight you got Chiefs-Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday could have been a great one with Burrow, where you had Baltimore-Cincinnati. Go ahead and off the top of your head, Stugotz, give me all the games yesterday that involved two winning teams. Give me all of the football games that were played yesterday. This is the magic of the sport, okay? The magic of the sport is that the games are interesting even though the teams aren't necessarily. So when I ask you to give me now, if Oakland had won, if Las Vegas had won yesterday, then the Dolphins would have beaten a winning team.
Right. Well,
No.
I see what you're doing.
They would have
there.
lost to
Right.
a winning team,
Yeah.
and then it would have been an indictment on them.
Right.
Actually, foolish of them to go out and beat the team because it turned them into a losing team.
But that was one of
Right.
the games that at least had a winning team against a 500 team. I'm asking you to give me all the games yesterday that involved two
Heading into
non-losing teams playing against each other before the game started. This is your slate, the whole slate. Go ahead.
was a good slate.
It wasn't a good
Steelers,
slate.
Browns.
That's it. Steelers-Browns.
Fart games.
Steelers-Browns. The
And they're
fart
frauds.
game.
Amazing.
The fart game. The Steelers spent that entire game on their own 25-yard line. Kenny Pickett is, when you do the advanced numbers, he's been Zach Wilson.
Worse, I think.
He's been Zach Wilson, not worse. Nobody's been worse than Zach Wilson.
I think he threw like 5 passes beyond the sticks that entire game.
But that was your big game
It was a
yesterday
great game.
involving winning teams. I enjoyed that game too, even though it was a special kind of awful because you knew both offenses had no chance to move down the
I
field.
love the physicality. I think that stuff is good. I mean, it reminded me of like the Ravens Steelers from a couple of
Yes.
years ago. Those games are compelling.
I've been saying forever, I love a good defensive struggle. We don't get them much in the NFL anymore. We had one yesterday. That was a classic.
I wish
It
I
was
could.
beautiful.
I wish I could have just written ass over that game. That's what I wanted to
It
do.
was a good game. It was dramatic.
It was poop.
DTR showed you something.
Every
though.
single drive was important. Yes, he did. He showed me something.
did not
DTR
show
showed
me
you something.
anything.
He did. He showed me that he is not Deshaun Watson. Wears a totally different uniform
Again,
and everything.
Mike, are you enjoying the success the Browns are having?
I'm not even.
You're wearing the colors
No,
today.
I'm not even paying attention. I'm just learning right now that they won.
Again,
I don't care.
that
swear.
was
I
the
think you're
game
back.
No.
between the two winning teams. There are no others.
What did he show you?
Moxie.
Moxie, a guy
Moxie.
who can lead a group of men to
Moxie.
a victory in a battle.
Yes.
That's what he
That's it.
showed me.
Joe,
Yeah.
Joe
In a-
Flacco,
Yep.
practice squad.
How many quarterbacks beating Mike Tomlin, huh?
In a war of attrition, they made it happen
DTR.
with a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
That I'm just learning about. I don't care really all that much.
I'm on to you.
I don't care all that much. I'm not rooting for them.
Why are you smiling?
By week 17, he has the dog pound mask on again.
No
right?
doubt.
Way earlier than that.
No more Watson, Mike. I mean,
I don't care. I really don't. I swear.
I may have seen a text. It wasn't Mike, but Mike was in the vicinity of plucky little team they got there in 7-3 Cleveland.
Little likable team all of a sudden. Not sure what's changed.
Don't, Mike. Don't compromise your morals for this team when they don't have a quarterback. Like, don't publicly cave on everything you stood for last year for a team that has no quarterback and cannot make a run.
It
in the
won't
playoffs.
change what a good thing you did last year.
Not even
It
considering
100% changes.
No, it wouldn't. It would be like,
You
look,
can't take a moral stand.
I put them in
and then
timeout.
If
Watson got
can't-
hurt,
you
and now
can't
they're
just
good.
you can't just pluck away the one major problem I had with the team and expect me to root for them all of a sudden. Not happening.
I know it happens every week, Stugotz, in a way that it's not even an astute observation to marvel at just how many interceptions are dropped in that league. But the Jalen Ramsey play at the end of the game reminded me of how many super easy interceptions I saw drop. That was not an easy one. I saw dropped yesterday. It must have been, in a sport where they're valuing so much the turnover, it must have happened 10 times yesterday where I'm watching a defensive back drop a ball and I'm like, how the hell do you drop that? But that's not even my 11th most interesting observation from yesterday.
there's a reason they're not playing wide receiver, Dano.
I know everyone says
Someone
that.
always has to say that.
Yeah.
I hate when people say that.
I'm the guy.
Does
he's
Keenan
there
Allen
for
play
it.
wide
Needs to be
receiver?
said.
Because he dropped one.
It could be the route running. You never really know what goes south for them when they're trying out at wide receiver school.
Stugotz is good for reheating an observation that someone has made for 20 years. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatard Show. Is one of Stugotz's finest traits reheating an observation everyone else has been making for 20 years?
Set it and forget it, Dano.
Are you guys ready to give me your 11th most interesting observation from all of yesterday's football? Again, I will say it again. It involved no winning football being played. There you had one game. The one game that had winning teams, 2 6-3 teams, are both teams that you all know are Cleveland's defense is great.
Whoa.
Between the two of them,
They I'm not here to defend them, but they look feisty, and I wouldn't want to play them in
Amari
in the
Cooper looks
postseason.
good.
I would not want to play them in the
Especially if they have a
playoffs.
home
Yes,
game?
I would not.
I would certainly not go. Don't ask me to go. I'm not going.
their defense is championship good. Cleveland's
Yeah, some
defense
people are saying
Historically good,
Some
yes.
people are saying that.
But
Myles
they
Garrett
are
is-
going to Joe Flacco to save them.
No. They got DTR. We have
Show
full
me
faith
something.
in him.
Don't compromise your morals for the. If they had a quarterback, 100% compromise your morals, but they don't have one, so don't do it.
They
You're
got
not going
DTR.
far. That's what we're trying to say.
Exactly right.
You're setting yourself up for heartbreak.
We're rolling
Not
with the kid.
heartbreak,
Yeah.
public humiliation.
I'm going to investigate your social media likes.
We're rolling with the kid.
Chris Cody, what was your 11th most interesting observation from yesterday?
Robert Saleh shaving his clearly dyed beard.
Whoa.
What?
He tackled Zach Wilson.
They were giving him credit there for that. They were like, look, he broke his fall. What a head coach.
The one time you want to see a hip drop tackle.
He didn't break his fall from being a starting quarterback and his career being over, though. Because that happened yesterday. I remind you, by the way, that Stugotz was arguing that Aaron Rodgers should stay on the sidelines because Zach Wilson won a game. That Aaron Rodgers should.
If he gets him there, Dano.
Now he's saying he's coming back December 2nd. For what? Why? The team's going nowhere. Why?
He's coming back in 2 weeks.
Well, a couple of fortnights. I mean,
He did show them video of him practicing, and they were wowed.
At one point yesterday, and this number is larger now than it was when I heard it, but they gave the stat during that game. The Jets have not scored a touchdown in 40 possessions.
I saw that.
And now it's more.
I almost threw up.
Like that was the third quarter of that game before. What? That was yours?
Stole his
Dan, the
Stole his
last two have
thunder.
been stolen from me. My 12th and 11th best thing. 12th, solid power bomb, Zach Wilson on the sideline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
11th, Jets 40 straight drives without a touchdown. Now I got to go to my 10th favorite thing.
No, you can't. You gotta go to 13.
You gotta go to your
Wait, let me go back.
13th.
Hold on.
Chris
Yeah.
Cody, give us your 11th most.
I just did. You forgot it.
It
It was the beard.
that's right.
Clearly died. He denied it, but it's died.
He denied it.
I did forget it. I'm sorry. It was that uninteresting.
Got us, though. Look, it was a springboard, though,
Yes.
for some nice Jets talk.
It led to Tony's 11th and 12th.
Yeah, now we get 13.
Billy, what is your 11th most interesting observation from yesterday?
So this was news that broke yesterday that impacts today's game. Guys, Taylor will not be able to travel to the game tonight, a Super Bowl preview / rematch. She won't be
Yes,
able to
the
go,
rare.
and this is supposed to be the game where her parents meet the Kelsey parents. So it makes you wonder, do the parents still go and meet the other parents? Because if you were going to meet your, significant other's parents, you'd want them to be there, correct?
Maybe she heard that holiday song and she's like, what's going on here?
I don't know about you, but when I started dating my significant other, I wanted our parents to meet in front of a national audience. That is not weird at all. That is how you first meet at Monday Night Football.
I also wonder, is Travis going to put on a show for the Swift parents tonight, or is he going to buckle under the pressure?
I got
Right.
correlated.
Well, you took the over for Kelsey yardage, didn't you?
I did take the,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, I did take the over
How
for
are your
Kelsey
big
yardage.
bets brought to you by going now on God Bless Football?
I had a rough week last week. I was 1-2, bringing me to 15, 11, and 1 on the season, but still, doing pretty good. Last week, Josh Allen had to come in and ruin what would have been a 2-1 week. Well, if they would have won, it would have been 3-0. But he had to ruin a 2-1 when he had a wide open receiver in the end zone. He could have just tossed it. I had over 1.5 touchdown passes. Instead, he ran it in. But it wasn't total touchdowns. That was last week.
Well, not that I expect you to follow the rules, but your interesting observation about tonight's game and the Kelseys is how an interesting observation from yesterday's
News
games?
broke yesterday.
Okay.
The news on that one broke yesterday.
Right.
The thing is, I have other interesting ones that I can give you, but I don't want to be accused of recycling something I said earlier. Like, for example, here's an interesting one.
What number is this on your list?
This could be number 11, but I also used it as my gamesmanship moment of the week on God Bless Football this morning.
great
Dan, my
segment.
gamesmanship moment of the week, which is patent pending. It's the first time we've done it. If it gets a sponsor, we'll continue. If not, we probably will forget about it. The Seahawks signed Brett Rippon to their practice squad the same week that the Rams cut him. Gamesmanship.
They lost.
Didn't end up working out. Seahawks still lost, but they signed the quarterback of the other team, hoping to get some secrets. Trade secrets, if you will.
Do you just give it all up if you're him?
He was. They were running up to him on the sideline. The announcers even said, he's the most popular man on the team today.
Right. That's what they hired him for. Yes, you have to.
It is one of the dumber things that I get with my football experience. Here's another one. Hey, everybody, you're not going to believe this. Frank Reich is taking over the play calling duties. Yeah, okay, great.
They scored.
They did.
They scored a touchdown.
They scored a touchdown. It was a 17-play drive, and they went for it on fourth down 3 times.
Yeah, Adam Thielen had like 4 fourth-down conversions on that drive, and they were all like 5-yard outs.
Didn't he recently give up the play calling duties?
Well,
Now
he's
he's
taking it
taking
back.
it back? Wait a minute.
Desperate. Yeah.
He's got him back now.
Laser says he's on the hot seat.
Well, he is.
This Rippin guy.
That Tepper guy.
If I ever get cut by a team and brought the team they're playing that week, I need a guarantee that I'm with you the rest of the season. Like if it's just this is a 1 week thing and I'm done, I'm giving you.
You think you've got leverage in that position?
I'm giving bad information. I'm like, you want this information? I need the rest of the year.
Bad information.
I'm just
for
saying,
what?
if I think I'm just gonna get cut the
Right.
very next week,
Yes.
I'm not giving the goods.
I like the idea of like being Brett Rippon and just announcing to the world, like, I'm on tour. I will go to any team that's going to play against the Rams moving forward this season.
Like,
just bring me onto your team for a week. I don't care. I like to tour the country.
imagine if like a Dolphins player got cut, because that's an offense. Teams are like, I need information on this team. If I'm a Dolphins,
I'm going to start calling him artificial intelligence.
So you think Chosen Anderson, when he was cut earlier this week, just to immediately be signed back onto the practice squad and elevated to the active roster, you think he should have started a bidding war to tell the trade secrets of the Dolphins offense?
I bet the Jets were like, "Ooh, Chosen's available. We need some info."
I don't have any proof that he knows it.
That's fair.
So you have Arizona signing Brett Rippon this week?
I'm just saying, if
You're gonna
if
get
I'm
a
Brett
noodle
Rippon,
arm
I'm not
and
giving up the
bad
goods.
information, but you can get a guy who's got some
A
information.
warm body.
Oh, no, Chris is right. If you want my information, give me a full year.
Right, the rest of the season.
He's
whatever-
not right. You have no leverage.
My
You have
lever-
the information.
I have something
Well, the
you
information
want.
stays with me.
I'll go
I
get
mean,
somebody else who has
All
information.
right, then do it. See ya.
Also, the Rams are 4-6. So, like, do you need it?
Now I'm back at home. I've made the night. Let me look up much. I bet he's fine. I bet Rippon is doing fine.
You just cost yourself a couple of $100,000.
Yeah, to be used.
So?
Put
It comes
on-
from money.
Put it on the poll. Is Rippon fine because he comes from money? Tony, what was the 11th most interesting observation?
I'm
you
going to go
had?
down to my
13th.
13th. Yeah, 13th. Keep an eye on Tommy DeVito. There's something there. I can go down to 14 if you want.
Such a sucker.
Jason Peters, 41-year-old Jason Peters, played for the Seahawks. They signed him for this year. 20-year NFL veteran. That's insane playing that position.
That is pretty cool.
Brett Rippon's made 3.6 in his life. All right? I'm holding strong if I'm him. You want the good stuff? Give me the rest of the season.
Well, they signed him to a 1-year contract.
Oh, so I don't know how this works. I just assume it's like 1 week. Give us the info. You're gone.
But it's not the good stuff.
He didn't give him the good stuff.
He
I'm
gave
telling
him
you.
nothing.
Nah, nothing.
Mike, what is your 11th most interesting football
I
observation?
mean, so many things to choose from. But in a game that Dan called the game of the week in the NFL between the Steelers and Browns, there was a funny little moment where Myles Garrett had a loose helmet in his hand, and it freaked out all the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, not a lot of people talked about a trade that the Browns made in August where they acquired Dustin Hopkins for a 7th rounder, and that's really turned our season around.
Our?
What?
A lot of wheeze prior, too.
What's going on
On your
there?
fantasy
I was
team, are you talking
waiting.
about?
I was waiting on that one.
D-Hop.
I think you're hearing things.
Stugotz, what was your
Just back-to-back weeks, the Browns have beaten the Ravens and Steelers, and if you've been a long-suffering
Big
Browns
division
fan,
win,
that
yeah.
is not something that you've seen since they've come back. Primarily because the Ravens weren't in the league before, because they used to be the Browns. Art Modell moved them. The whole thing.
Stugotz, your 11th most interesting observation?
The Commanders are confusing. I don't understand them. They have a good team. They're playing a bad team in the New York Giants. Everyone tells me the defense is so good for a couple of years now. Sam Howell, this good quarterback. They have Eric Bieniemy. They have Riverboat Ron. They're not good. They're confusing. They're a confusing football team. I think they could be good, but I have no idea if
Why
they're
did
any
they make
good.
those trades?
I don't know.
They were sitting in an all right position to make a playoff push, and they just kind of punted on Sweat and Young. Those are guys that can help them win, and it kind of seems like the team has gone in a different direction since they made those moves.
Video, get for me, please, the last time that the Commanders lost to the Giants, their defensive lineman, who is now lonely because all the others have left. Sweat got money.
And so did Chase Young, went
Chase
to the
Young
Niners. and
traded
he's
to
like,
the
wait
Niners,
a second,
yeah.
what about me? I'm the squeaky wheel here, and I'm
Yes,
stuck.
but the last time that Washington lost to the New York Giants, here is this menace of a man who looks like somebody that I would not want to be tackled by, like super pissed off.
What's the evaluation like after a loss like that?
They whooped our ass, plain and simple. Got to be better.
Anything they did that surprised you guys early on?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think it's just a lack of focus on our part, a lack of attention to detail, not starting fast, and creating holes that are too big for us to overcome in the second half.
Does it get frustrating when that?
Yes, it does. I'm tired of this. Tired of this bull. It's been 7 years of the same shit. Tired of this.
What can you do now going forward to get it turned around?
Get our minds right and get ready to play Philadelphia.
I would have sprinted away after that last answer.
What can you do to change that?
That was from a couple of weeks ago. How do you think Jonathan Allen felt after losing yesterday and going back to a locker room that had no running water?
No,
it did. It was cold.
It was cold water. Yeah.
Cold showers are good for you, though.
I knew you. That was the most predictable.
How does he feel walking in? We just lost to Tommy DeVito.